So there I was, back up against the wall, no time to be able to deal with anything, and there was still so many cards to go. But you know what? We're just going to do it. We're just going to power on through and get to the last of it. I know you guys, if you're still here watching this, you have a lot of patience, so I'll just jump right in. We're going to jump into a couple of named cards, ultra rares, and allies. So we'll go with the named cards and such before. So we start off with Vegeta's Final Flash. I adore... I adore this card. Oh gosh, it's got so many things going on with it. So we had spoken about the Vegeta main personality being very much so about his own named cards and non-styled stuff to make magic happen. So you want a tool for that? You want something that complements that? Well, we're looking at it. Vegeta's Final Flash. Energy attack costing 3 stages. Appropriate. It says this attack can only be stopped by an energy combat card. So awesome. We got the thing that punches through drills and such. Automatically raise your anger 2 levels. Immediate effects, so you don't have to worry about hit effects. Who needs hit effects? And then players can only attack or pass in their actions as combat. So he's got a red restriction built into it. If you're playing an ultra aggressive Vegeta build, this will put the kibosh on slow players like, say, Red Enraged Cooler, Red Enraged Roshi, Black Roshi. You know, just to let them know that their time's up. Time to punch that clock. So the damage, of course, isn't huge, which is fine because all the buffs on Vegeta, it's fine. You'll get used of it. So damage is 4 life cards. If it does hit, you may lower your main person 1 level. If you do, your opponent discards a random card from his or her hand. Now, it's going to be pretty rare that you're going to want to use as part of this effect, but there's going to be more cards that talk about de-leveling, I'm sure, that will help you to better maximize that effect. Just the fact that it's a you may means it's still highly usable. The red restriction built into it is invaluable. There's a card, I'm trying to think of what it was called. Goku Searching Technique? I cannot remember it, but it was a rare from the old Score Z game. It had roughly the same thing. Goku sitting in or reaching into like a bird nest, looking around for a Dragon Ball in the interlude between leaving the hyperbolic time chamber and the Cell games. So that card was pretty good. It was basically an event to search for a Dragon Ball. It was really good stuff. That card has made a return. Goku Search is making a return. It is, of course, an event that is limited to per deck. It has a power. Maybe the most powerful power of them all. My mind doesn't fully get how effective this is going to be. It says, search your life deck for an ally, drill, or Dragon Ball, place it into play. Your MP gains 5 stages. Search your discard pile for 2 cards or rejuvenate them. It's hard to find something that this card isn't doing. I do play a Goku deck. I play a mean Goku deck. And I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 of these. And life's going to be pretty good. I'm going to get out of bad stage lock situations. I'm going to rejuvenate the heck out of some cards. All I can say is I like it. It'll be an easy card. I'm going to beat people up to get rares out of them. Be like, you got that Goku Search? You packing that? Okay, moving along to a handful of other cards, mostly ultra rares, so I won't take too long with this one. We're going to open up with Allied Blitz. And also talk about how I have I got a lot of PTSD from Score Z. A deck archetype I used to play back in the day, fight against, was Orange Android 18 Drill Ally. So here's what it used to do. It would have the Android 18 that had the defense shield built in. Then it would have 3 or 4 orange style drills stretched out from all the different DBZ sets, because remember, we didn't freeze our games back then. And then it would have, of course, a bunch of allies who had defense shields built into them. That's just basically blocks. Some of them were Omni, some of them weren't. But the reality was, this deck didn't have any blocks. Because with 4 blocking drills and 4 to 5 blocking allies with 1 on 18, you could have 5 to 10 blocks in play at any given time. So who needs a block? With a build like that, you can afford to be really aggressive. And a card that used to be a part of the old game, and it's called Group Attack. It was the one that basically could blast you into infinity. The trick is, as long as you keep passing it to someone else to perform it during the combat, so all you got to do is get your main personality down to 0 and basically pass around this energy attack and blow your opponent to smithereens. So, I got a lot of bad memories of that. You kids will never know what we went through. So when I saw Allied Blitz Ultra Rare, I was pretty darn upset. Before I even read it, I was like, oh, heck no. And then its effect is completely reasonable. There's nothing wrong with it. So it's an energy attack costing 1 stage. It says whenever you perform an energy attack this combat, your opponent skips his or her next action. So awesome. If you have like an ally beatdown deck or a Yamcha with multiple shots, you can just pound them away till you might even kill them before they even get a fist on you. So it only does 3 life cards, so it's hardly bad. But it says hit effect. If your main personality is not a Saiyan, then for the remainder of combat, your allies will make actions regardless of your main personality's power stage. So here's a couple of realities. Provided you're not Gohan, provided you're not Goku and the other guys, like say you're Krillin, or Yamcha, or Piccolo, or pretty much all these guys, you can pop in all of your allies. Now thankfully it does fully exclude Cell because he's a Saiyan 2, for balancing sake. The big idea is, if you have a Krillin ally deck or a Yamcha ally deck, you can have everybody jump in and start shooting. Everybody's going to get their licks in. And the fact your opponent has to keep skipping means if you're going to shoot off your Chaozu, your Tiens, all these energy attacks, you could potentially get every single move off before your opponent even knows what's happening. Excellent card, worth an ultra rare, endurance 3, not even banished after use. That's an ultra rare, folks. Next card coming up, Assisted Kamehameha, another ultra rare from the set. This one says, energy attack costing 2 stages. If your main personality is a Saiyan, so the opposite of Allied Blitz, this attack cannot be stopped as damage cannot be prevented. If that sounds familiar, it really should, because it's basically Krillin's Destructo Disc. It does 4 life cards of damage, just like Destructo Disc. Let's say you have a lot of buffs. Let's say you're one of the Saiyan decks that has a bunch of drills or something like that, and all you got to do is lay one of your dirty paws on them and knock them out. This can punch a hole through them. If you have like the room and the money, pack 3 of these bad boys. Why not? Oh, I got a controversial opinion when it comes to Heroic Energy Sphere and Villainous Energy Sphere. The first thing I'll say right out the back is I hate these cards. I truly hate them. Not because they're particularly, offensive or perhaps have an effect that's outrageous. Hardly. A counter card's common. If you think about other games, there's plenty of counter cards. The play when your opponent does this kind of cards. My one complaint is that the card of this caliber, of this necessity, of this utility, should never have been an ultra rare. And if it was ultra rare, it should have been a very common ultra rare. There is no reason that this particular card should be retailing with astronomical prices and nonsense going on. Whenever I see this in somebody's deck, I tend to think, you're either super lucky in pulls or you spend a fortune. Which is it? Because I bought my fair share of cards too. So negativity aside, it's kind of neat that they're getting reprinted, for some neater artwork, because the old ones were fine. They were, it's got the trunks on it, slapping away the energy bolts, neat. I think these are good. I think these are a better visual representation of it, and because of the new presentation style for how the text is displayed, it's even a little clearer as to what it is and how it works. I'll hope that the ratios are better than they've been, but I won't hold my breath. Alright, to cap this off, we're going to go ahead and do a quick discussion of the allies. And we won't take too terribly long. We're doing Cell Jr. Escaping. So this one says, just like all the Cell Juniors, remember, they don't gain stages. So when they go into play, you can have a mountain of them, a big giant pile of Cell Juniors, but remember, they don't gain stages, so there's no point in carrying stage gaining cards. Also, if someone puts out Hidden Power Drill, they're just going to die en masse. So, Cell Jr., level 1 escaping, decent power level, no PUR, 0. He has a continuous effect. When this card is leaving play, you may banish it to destroy the top card of your opponent's life deck. So, if I had to put a thematic thing on this, I would say Cell Jr. escaping is going to be one of those cards when it leaves play, like say you blow it up for something, or you shuffle out of play with like the blue ally cards that banish your own guys or something like that. You can just use it to start milling them out, which is good. And then, of course, with blue tag, you just start rejuvenating banish guys left and right. So, hardly a bad idea. Next one is going to be Cell Jr. level 1, Trapped. This guy says, same as before, of course, cannot gain stages, continuous effect. While you control one ally, your effects that destroy the cards from the top of your opponent's life deck have the amount increased by 1. So, remember we talked about a lot of these characters who used to have these effects, you know, boosting your damage in the way of destroying the top card of the life deck, used to be like an event or a setup or a drill. Now it's built into the allies, so that's going to be quite the trend going forward. Look for older cards showing up inside other characters. It says if your opponent's main personality, your opponent's attacks deal -1 life card of damage. So just imagine for a second you got this out in play, and you start blasting and getting rid of all the other Cell Juniors, and then blammo, you start knocking off doubles off the top of their deck. If they're going from 1, they're going to 2. So super terribly effective. And a very small damage buff. Put out Hiding Drill, and your opponent's going to have a hard time damaging you. So last of the Cell Juniors is Cell Junior Unrelenting. Again, cannot gain stages. It has the power of a physical attack. Allies you control cannot perform attacks as combat. So you'll have to use it for last, which is fine. Or if your other allies, you just don't have any other attacks for them to use, it's fine. Damage is 3 stages plus X. X number of allies in play with a Cell Junior in the title. So 6 stages, that can put the coup de grace on somebody. Can put them in a bad spot. If it does hit, remember you shuffle all allies you control with Cell Junior title into their owner's life deck. So let's say you're fighting another Cell and you got to clear all of his Cell Juniors out. This can do that. Also, if you have one of the drills, and I'm trying to think of what it's called. Some of the blue cards again that mill your opponent for when your allies leave play. Ta-da! The biggest mill you ever saw. Also, I can't remember if it's called Blue Tantrum. It's the one with Vegeta shooting out of his palm. It says you can blow up any number of your allies that you want. That would be a near instant level up with good old Cell and Cell Juniors. Oh, one more ally is going to be part of this set. And who else here totally didn't know the name of the announcer, the name of the correspondent that was covering the Cell games? I love Dragon Ball. I watched the show to death. I couldn't have told you his name to save my life. Put a gun in my face. I genuinely don't know. So his name is actually Jimmy Firecracker. Jimmy Firecracker Inquisitive. That's funny. He has 1 PURs per normal, single-digit power stages, fine, completely okay, understandable even. It says if your main personality is Hercule, you may use this power regardless of your main personality's power stage. So another one of those, I override the system provided you provide the right surroundings for me. He says he has a defensive power that says stops a physical energy attack. Shuffle this card into your life deck after use. So why this is amazingly powerful, especially in a Hercule deck, was use his power, stop an attack, shuffle him in, use Hercule's Grand Entrance to go ahead and do that again. Stop another one. Hercule's Grand Entrance, of course, says use after your opponent performs an attack, search your life deck or discard power for an ally, place play 5 stages above 0, maintain a combat that ally may make actions regardless of your main person has power stage. So basically let him soak up the damage for you. It's going to be up there. It's going to be up there with Yamcha's rescue, with showing up in combat and being like, oh, so you're not going to let me get a hit on you, huh? So other than that, we have covered all of the notable entries in this particular list. And overall, when they said that the game was getting started over at this point, I feel like they've had this in mind for a long time and preparing us slowly but surely to phase out set 1 with strange, odd, either competing or duplicating effects coming from later sets and cards. Like a lot of perfection didn't make any sense in light of previous sets. So it's all coming together. This was certainly in the making for a long time, and I feel that there's much, much better planning this go around. The masters are better, the main personalities are better. Everything seems to be better all the way around. I appreciate everything about it. And thank you for your time for listening. Have a great day.